Yo, what is going on YouTube? I am Germ here, and it's that time of the year. We need to talk about the fact that Mad Lions are finished. A crazy up and down year for them, and it's time to kind of wrap it all up, put a bow on this, and start getting ready for the next season. Now, for them, the offseason has officially started. Coming into this year as the back-to-back LEC champions, coming into the year as a team that got semifinals at MSI in 2021 and got quarterfinals at Worlds in 2021. Obviously, neither of those ended up going all that great. But still, they were a team that accomplished a lot in 2021. They had heightened expectations in 2022. Even though they lost a couple of their players, they still wanted to bounce back and do well. I'm sure they weren't trying to be a worse team in 2022. But things definitely did not go as planned. I believe in the spring split, they finished 7th, and it didn't even end up making the playoffs. Coming into summer, they grabbed Nisky, and they really, for a time during the LEC in the summer, were probably the best team in the league. They ended up not doing so great down the stretch. Even in the regular season, they already started to falter a little bit, but they still ended up with the LEC MVP. They ended up with 4 out of the 5 first-team All-Pro members. They ended up with the the coaching staff of the LEC, or whatever you want to call that, as well. And they ended up qualifying for Worlds. Even without winning a best of 5, they still ended up here. And then they ended up making it all the way to the knockout stage, the final best of 5 at the World Play-ins. But unfortunately, a lot of failures in there as well. Again, not making the playoffs in spring was a huge disaster. Not winning a best of 5 at all during the LEC season was a disaster. And being just the second team ever, Mad Lions and Mad Lions, to be a major 4 region team to not make it out of play-ins, that's an absolute disaster as well. And in these games, it was definitely a lot that went wrong against Evil Geniuses. I think, to me, the biggest takeaway that I have from the Evil Geniuses series was the lack of solo lane play from Mad Lions, which, again, was an absolute issue. Arma and Nisky are just not very strong individual lane players. I'm not even just saying they're laning. I'm just saying if you hear the top and mid you're going up against is Arma and Nisky, you're not going to be that scared. Nisky can be an amazing player with an amazing team around him. He can facilitate. He can help out. Nisky himself is usually not going to beat you. And just going internationally, and even in the LEC, as we saw, when you're going up against good domestic teams, especially in best of 5s, you're going to need some kind of strength coming out of at least one of your solo lanes. Arma and Nisky, I think it's very clear, they cannot be on the same team going forward in the future. This absolutely did not work. You can't have a facilitative mid laner with a tank top lane player who can play 2 or 3 champions, and then you're putting all the eggs in your basket of, man, I hope it's a carry jungle meta so Elyoya can carry us. Turns out there was 2 carry junglers at this tournament, and if you just ban them out, Elyoya's kind of screwed. Or we're going to play through our rookie AD carry who's showing some nerves and some signs of being a little bit scared or hesitant on the international stage. This was just a recipe for disaster for Mad Lions. Now, going into this offseason, hey, what the heck are you going to do? I don't know. But I still want to talk a little bit more about these games we saw against Evil Genius as well, because I do think one of the other biggest storylines from this whole thing was, damn, Elyoya is really freaking good. This is your franchise player. You need to build around him. Hopefully you can hang on to him for as long as possible. Definitely do everything you can to keep him happy. But man, also at the same time, Nisky, once again, despite winning an MVP in the LEC, potentially being one of the best players in the LEC this year, which no one really would think he's the best individual player. I think the MVP was more of a storyline thing and just how much of an impact he made on Mad Lions coming to them. I think Nisky really choked in a big way and really kind of mental boomed in a big way. I think JoJo and Evil Geniuses were in Nisky's head really bad. I mean, even seeing from Champions Queue right at the beginning where JoJo's, styling on Nisky, solo killing him, and then in these games with the alt chat, the typing, JoJo's typing and they're killing him, and they're typing some more, and then Evil EG wins a game, and then in game 2, Nisky decides to ego pick, or not necessarily just Nisky, but Nisky and Mad Lions decide to ego pick the Silas again. JoJo pulls out a counter pick, he smashes him again. People were saying it just looked like Nisky was playing really tilted, really desperate. And I would say, again, this is kind of another international event where Nisky hasn't really showed up and played well. I say it time and time again, Nisky is a great player. I think he's a very good player. He's going to make your team good. You'll never be bad if you have Nisky on your team, but I don't really think you'll ever be great. He can get you to the big game, but but he can't win the big one. That's kind of just been his MO throughout his entire career. But if you do get a really, really great team all around him, yes, Nisky can be an amazing facilitator, but you really need Nisky to be like your worst player, not your best player. And I think he was probably like their second best player, but overall, I do think coming into this next offseason, some things have to change. Now, if you are Mad Lions, I would really think the change needs to come in the top lane. The only issue is that good top laners, especially in the West, are very, very hard to come by. Now, I don't think Armut's it. I think Armut has a small champion pool, isn't even necessarily that impressive on the couple champions that he does play. Like, was he playing Gnar at a world-class level in this tournament? Was he playing Aatrox at a world-class level in this tournament? I don't necessarily think so. So where do you go in the top lane? What do you do there? I don't know. There has been like some rumor and speculation of some players were maybe going to roll swap to top lane to try and, spice some things up. Could Mad Lions go out and get a guy like Adam? Is that a potential? Is that a possibility? I don't know. It's going to be very, very tough. So that's why I kind of think ultimately Mad Lions may have to run back Arma, but I don't really love that prospect. I think you could also always look at like Korean or Chinese top laners, stuff like that. Obviously Rogue, they brought in Malrong this year and they were able to be very, very successful. So I would really like to see Mad Lions go with a new top laner going forward in the future. Like I said, you need to lock up Elyoya. I do think they need to get stronger in at least one of their solo lanes. And again, I don't think that's going to be mid lane since they just brought in Nisky. They sucked without Nisky. They got way better with him. I don't know if there's any like super, super exciting up and coming ERL top laners. I don't really think there are all that many right now, if any at all, that I'm like super, super, super excited about. So that's what I do think makes things a little bit more difficult there as well. And then in the bot lane, I think Kaiser, he wasn't great in the Evil Geniuses series, but Kaiser was really good in the Summer Split. He was really good during the rest of the playing stage at World. So I'm not like saying you should get rid of Kaiser or anything like that. I think Kaiser, Elyoya, and Nisky is probably going to be your core. And then Unforgiven, I think you have to roll him back. I don't think Unforgiven was good at Worlds. He even played the Draven twice against Evil Geniuses, and they didn't pick up a win in either one of those games. That was his moment to maybe shine on some comfort. He had some okay games, but I think overall Unforgiven was pretty disappointing and significantly worse than he was during the LEC for one reason or another, whether it was pressure, nerves, different meta, different champions, him just in bad form. I don't exactly know. But I do think this guy is a very, very bright and upcoming AD carry talent. Yes, of course, you could always look at replacing him. You could bring back Karzi. You could look at Hansama. You could look at Reckless, something like that. But I don't really think that makes much sense. And I do think Mad Lions likes to develop their own kind of inexperienced younger players and bring them up and mold them. And that's kind of their team's MO. So at the end of the day, I don't really know what Mad Lions is going to end up doing. I think you just got to pray you keep Elyoya happy. Pray you keep Kaiser happy. And then try and take a chance on some kind of top laner. But this was a very, very strange year for Mad Lions. Super, super disappointing for them. Obviously, they shouldn't even have made it to Worlds in the first place if the whole CIS thing didn't go down. If Europe didn't get a 4th seed, Mad Lions wouldn't even have been here. So it does feel a little bit bad for them that they end up qualifying for this tournament just to not even get out of play-ins once again and kind of get memed on in the whole thing. But hey, they just got 3-0'd by North America, which EU hasn't had that happen before. They just got 3-0'd by a North American mid laner when they had the LEC MVP across from him. They just got 3-0'd by a substitute AD carry that's played like, I don't know, maybe 10 professional games or something like that. This is a very, very ugly, embarrassing loss for Mad Lions overall. Not necessarily that they lost to EG, because EG was a good team, but how they lost to EG, I think, is really, really bad. Should be unacceptable, and I think we should be seeing some changes coming to Mad Lions in the future. And I think this is going to be a spicy offseason where we see a ton of people moving around. Also, you have Odoamne, who's about to be a free agent. Could Mad Lions potentially coax Odoamne into coming over to their team? I don't know. That'd be pretty spicy. That'd be pretty crazy. I don't know if that'd be necessarily the best fit, but it's at least a top laner that's available. I don't know. But yeah, pretty much it for this video today, guys. Crazy, crazy year for Mad Lions. It has come to an end sooner than I'm sure they would have liked, but also later on than maybe it should have. So I don't exactly know what to make of it. But all I know is Mad Lions is finished. But that's pretty much it for this video today, guys. Definitely drop a like if you did enjoy it. I'd appreciate that so much. Leave a comment down below. Let me know what you guys think about anything we talked about in this video today. Subscribe, stay up to date on all my latest content. Hopefully catch you guys in the next one. But until then, peace.